I'd like to welcome all of you to our event this morning in commemoration and in remembrance of the flood events that took place just a year ago today. I had the honor of being able to attend the event in Wimberley, Texas on Saturday, which was just an amazing experience, an amazing opportunity, and a true blessing to be there with our neighbors in Wimberley, Texas. The mayor then and I today, we both had the same challenge is, do you refer to this as a memorial or a commemoration? And he said what he liked to refer to it as is a celebration of gratitude and an opportunity to be able to say thank you to so many people that not only were present on Saturday, but especially to those that were not present on Saturday. The thousands of volunteers that came into Hays County, the neighbors that were helping neighbors, certainly the first responders that helped rescue and support so many folks, especially in Wimberley where they experienced loss of life. We are so appreciative of the families. We're so appreciative of our friends and neighbors. We're so appreciative of our first responders, and I'm especially appreciative of everyone that stepped up and truly helped out a community in need. It was amazing to watch so many folks step into roles that typically may be unfamiliar, that typically may not be a part of their day-to-day responsibilities, but did so with a great deal of professionalism, with a great deal of courtesy, with a sense of urgency and a recognition of trying to be a part of providing solutions and support and compassion for those that were immediately in need. And so on behalf of my colleagues in the City Council, on behalf of an incredibly grateful community, on behalf of so many people in San Marcos that have been impacted by last year's Memorial Day floods, thank you to each and every one of you. From those of you that simply came from across town or across the street to help your friend in need, to help your neighbor in need, to our parks department, our streets department, our librarian, who was in charge suddenly of not only being responsible for information and data and periodicals and books, but suddenly became responsible for organizing and distributing thousands and thousands of donations of goods to help someone out. To our police department and our fire department and our public works department, our human resources department, communications folks that not only were being brought to our police department, but those that came out of retirement to help. Our Convention and Visitors Bureau that helped us get our message out in multiple languages and helped us create a logo that captured the minds and thoughts of a grateful community, and to this day is still a symbol of what we experienced and what we endured and the strength that we were able to garner as a community together. I'd also like to just take a moment to recognize certainly my colleagues here from the City Council, Councilmember Gregson, Councilmember Tomites, Councilwoman Houston, Councilwoman Pruitt that are here today. I'd like to take a moment as well to recognize some representatives from both our federal and state elected offices who played a significant role in the days and weeks and months that have passed since last year's flood. Sandy Edwards, the Regional Director for U.S. Senator John Cornyn's office, we thank you for being here. Leanne Calloway, the District Director for U.S. Congressman Lloyd Doggett, thank you for being here as well. John Oliver, the Chief of Staff for Texas Senator Donna Campbell is here. Thank you for being here. And Thomas Monahan, the Executive Director for our BR3T, which is our long-term recovery organization that has been established to help us rebuild and to move forward. We thank you for being here as well. I have a brief proclamation that I would like to read, and then wanted to share some comments about the flag that will be flying over City Hall today, and then some other brief announcements as well prior to concluding this morning's event. The proclamation reads as follows, and it's the first time I'm getting an opportunity to read the words of this proclamation, and so I hope I'll be able to get through all of it as well. And it reads as follows. Whereas on the evening of May 24, 2015, historic rain struck Hays County, causing the Blanco River to rise far above its banks and bringing worse flooding than many lifelong Hays County residents had ever seen before. And whereas the Memorial Day flood destroyed homes in Wimberley, San Marcos, and Hays County, and took the lives of 11 people, 2 of whom were young children. And whereas while the rain was yet falling, first responders from throughout the county came together to evacuate residents and conduct numerous rescues, putting their own lives in danger to save others. And in the following days, agencies from across the state sent dedicated professionals to aid in the rescue, search, and recovery efforts. And whereas while the survivors of the Memorial Day flood were putting their lives back together and rebuilding their homes, more storms hit the area on October 30th, 2015, this time sending the San Marcos River over its banks and damaging 1,000 homes in San Marcos. And whereas the community has pulled together to form the Blanco River Regional Recovery Team, and joined by volunteers and donations from across the nation, are helping the survivors of both floods recover and rebuild their homes. And whereas on this first anniversary of the Memorial Day flood, residents of Wimberley, San Marcos, and Hays County, as well as people from around the state and the country and who lost loved ones, continued down the long and arduous road to recovery, with generous help and support from local organizations and volunteers. Now therefore I, Daniel Gavetto, by virtue of the authority vested in me as Mayor of the City of San Marcos, Texas, do hereby proclaim May 24, 2016 as Flood Victims and Heroes Remembrance Day, and do hereby call upon all citizens of San Marcos to commemorate the heroic efforts of our first responders and remember those who have lost lives, loved ones, and homes in this historic disaster, and to show the world that we are truly stronger together. In testimony, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the City of San Marcos, Texas, on this 24th day of May, 2016. The only thing I would add to that proclamation is we are truly grateful for everyone that supported us last year. The support came from well beyond just the state of Texas and well beyond just the boundaries of our nation. We had visitors here from throughout the world. We had folks that simply saw a calling, saw a cause, and went to help. And we are eternally grateful to all of them wherever they may be today. And we are eternally grateful for those that are still here today. We're grateful for all of the agencies that have been supportive, and we look forward to being able to continue to be supportive of everyone's efforts certainly throughout all of San Marcos, but throughout all of Hays County, throughout the entire state of Texas. This last year's event certainly reminded us of how close we all are, how similar our fragility can be at times, but how monumental our strength together can be to be able to provide that type of support to one another. As we prepare to raise the American flag and the San Marcos flag that will be flown over the City Hall this morning, a couple of comments that I wanted to share. The American flag we are raising today is the flag that was flying over the San Marcos Fire Station 5 1 year ago today, when the station and many of the neighborhoods in the area began to flood. As this flag is raised, we ask that you take a moment to reflect on the passion, dedication, and sacrifices that were made during and after the flood by our first responders, volunteers, city staff, neighbors, and friends who answered the call to action. The SMTX Stronger Together flag is based on a logo created by the San Marcos Convention and Visitors Bureau. After the Memorial Day weekend floods, thousands of people volunteered their time and skills immediately following the flood. And 1 year later, work is still being done to rebuild the community and help our neighbors who face destruction and rebuild their homes. And if you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have one final presentation before we close our ceremony. I'd like to call the Executive Director of the BR3T to come forward to receive a small gift in appreciation of your continued service to San Marcos. What we have here today is a flag. It's a SMTX Stronger Together flag is in commemoration of your continued work. The BR3T is a long-term recovery organization for Hays, Caldwell, Blanco, and Guadalupe counties. This nonprofit organization provides flood-related case management, emotional support, construction, volunteer coordination, and donation management to these communities. They have worked with partner agencies to reach over 400 flood survivors, organize home repairs, and assist survivors with rebuilding after the 2015 floods. The San Marcos Convention and Visitors Bureau has also joined and will be hosting a brief fundraiser today. These flags will be available for sale to any resident, to any business owner that would like to show their community spirit. The city has also raised this flag at facilities around San Marcos as a sign of our community's strength and resilience. And I'm not sure where right down the sidewalk over here, if anyone is interested in purchasing a similar flag, we'd certainly encourage you to do that. And the resources from those sales will go to help support the BR3T and your continued service to our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This concludes our program for today, but we certainly appreciate each and every one of you being here, and we look forward to continue working together to make our community stronger. Thank you so much. God bless everyone.